Hi, everybody. This is Erika from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I know that I have had a little bit of an influx of subscribers since Saturday night when I did the reading on what the heck that White House Correspondents' Dinner thing was all about. So welcome if you are new to um, the channel. This is a channel where, as you've gathered, I read Lenormand on the events of the day. I have also written a book in case you'd like to learn how to read the way that I do. It's called The Language of Lenormand. You can find it, as they say, wherever books are sold, but there is a link in the show notes. And you can also get it in French. It's Découvrez le langage du Lenormand. So you can get it either in English or French, um, wherever books are sold. The deck that I use, generally speaking, is my own deck. Sometimes I'll use the decks of friends or other decks that I find pretty, but generally with Lenormand, I use my own deck. It's called Erika's Lenormand of Hope, and you can also find that at La Panthère Studio. The link for that is also in the show notes. So I did the video Saturday. Spur of the moment thing. The event had just happened. Um, Much of what I said about the incident was borne out. So, for example, I said that I thought that he was young. I thought that he would leave some sort of manifesto or letter or a journal entry. In fact, he did do that. Uh, I said that I thought on the one hand he was a lone actor, but I couldn't get out of my head the idea that he had been in some way radicalized, compromised by an entity from somewhere else. There is evidence that that is the case. Uh, I also said that I didn't think it was a false flag per se. I think it was a real event. Um, But I think it's much more complicated and convoluted than it looks on the surface. So stay tuned for that, both to my channel and other channels, because there are too many coincidences for us not to think that this was orchestrated in some way. Whether he, the shooter, knew that or not, I'm not sure. He may not have. He may have just known only his little part in this play. Um, but I think it's not unrelated to a lot of other things that are going on now, including, for example, the disappearance of scientists. This young man was a scientist, a teacher. Uh, it feels very Manchurian candidate-like. I'll just put it like that. But if you go back and you watch that video, I was myself taken aback with how accurate a lot of what I had to say was. So, um, again, if you're new to my work, that is typical of the way that I work. I try to jump on things quickly right away and see what the energies show me. So today there are two women that I'd like to look at. This won't be a long video because I'm coming on for me fairly late in the day. Um, but I did want to look at these two women. The first what I want to look at is Susie Wiles. So Susie Wiles, I'm sure you know, is the chief of staff of the president. Um, she is the daughter of a very famous newscaster, not newscaster, sportscaster that I remember from my childhood. Pat Summerall is her dad. And she has said that she learned how to deal with people like Trump from dealing with people like her dad. Her dad was, by her admission, maybe by his admission as well, an alcoholic. And even though we know the felon does not drink, according to Susie Wiles, he exhibits all of the behavior of an alcoholic minus the alcohol. So if you know, you know. Uh, anyway, she recently, there was an article, was it Vanity Fair? Maybe Vanity Fair, where she was interviewed and she gave a very honest assessment of a lot of people in the administration, including the felon. He doesn't seem to have been too perturbed by that, but um, you know, I think it was the snowball that now has rolled downhill and has become a boulder and is about to knock her over. She further has recently announced that she has been diagnosed with cancer, for which she is in treatment. Why is any of that relevant? Well, one of the things that Susie Wiles is in charge of is um, the Secret Service. Not that she's the head of the Secret Service, but she, under her umbrella, is that office. So the person who um, was in charge of the Secret Service, I don't know if I wrote his name down. I may not have. I did. Is Sean Current. He is currently the head of the Secret Service. And he has had a series of missteps. And Susie Wiles, apparently, who's in charge of really hiring and firing, could have fired him and did not. Now, as you can imagine, given her current personal circumstances, she is uh, otherwise occupied than with the affairs of state, which are her purview. And so, word on the street has it that the felon is angry about that and that um, her head will be the next to roll. So, I'm going to use the older woman for Susie Wiles, and I want to just see whether she will be the third woman uh, to go. We all thought it was going to be Tulsi, except that in my last reading on Tulsi, I said that she continues to hold on. And that's because she's such an enigma to everyone, including the felon. Um, Her loyalties, entertainment purposes only, and allegedly seem divided among, I don't even want to say between this and that. I think it's more that her allegiances are divided up in multiple ways. Um, and so I think that makes her a dangerous person and someone that one would possibly think twice about firing. So for the moment, I think Tulsi is safe. But Susie Wiles could be the third woman in line to get the axe. Let's look. So again, we're going to use the older woman card. That will stand for Tulsi. I mean, for Susie Wiles. Thank you for all your comments on my recent videos. I appreciate them. I read them all. I can't respond to them all. There's so many, but I do read them all. And I'm grateful for the likes, the shares, the hypes, um, and the comments. Okay, here she is. Okay, so this stands for Susie Wiles, the president's chief of staff, who's being blamed for this White House uh, um, security breach on the part of the Secret Service. Interesting. So we have the lily, we have the clover, we have Susie Wiles, we have the ring, and we have the birds. So You know, the Lily, they go way back, the felon and Susie Wiles. You can imagine that the felon and Susie Wiles' father, Pat Summerall, were golfing buddies. And I know they go way, way back. Um, the felon likes her. She is someone who is able to handle him, if you know what I mean. Uh, she's in the middle. Then we have this ring card. And this is a card, among other things, for loyalty. And people are talking about her loyalty. People are talking, that's the birds, about how loyal she is. And remember, the felon's grown increasingly paranoid, which is why he's doing this Grim Reaper thing that he's swinging around and talking about who's next on the chopping block. So I decided that I would pull cards on Susie Wiles. And we have clouds, dog, and mice. Remember what I said about loyalty when I looked at that fourth card? Well, here she is, and her loyalty is in doubt. And she is anxious about whether she will lose her job. She does not feel that her job is secure. Um, the dog is also a card for loyalty. Clouds are doubts. So there are doubts about her loyalty. And that's got her worried because, of course, she doesn't want to lose her job. Look how coordinated I am. Even my glass is navy blue. Yeah, anyway, um, the ring. This is a card for loyalty. It's also a card for contracts, job contracts, that kind of thing. And the clarifiers are child, mountain, and coffin. So if this is the think about this as the terms of her employment, right? And because of her treatment and her illness, that's the coffin, which is the illness, um, she has curtailed some of her responsibilities. She has not been as attentive to all of her responsibilities as she could have been. And the mountain is a block, and this is the card for illness. So the line just seems to say to me that she has been unable to be on top of her game because she is being treated for cancer. There are people around the felon who are saying, you need to let her go. And they are not being quiet about their um, concerns. In other words, if things are meant to be kept quiet in the White House, they will be kept quiet. But when news trickles out, that's never by accident. It's always on purpose. And so what will happen is um, it can mirror this um, sun card with the lily. I think publicly she will be praised by the felon. We go way back. I really like her. She's done a wonderful job. But, now she's facing this personal challenge, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that the felon, feeling pressured, will will fire her. Um, it won't look like firing. I mean, they might even frame it as like a leave of absence, but this is not really a card for leave of absence. It's like a permanent leave of absence that she will not be back. So I think the felon will be pressured to fire her. Who he'll put in her place, God only knows, because the crop of candidates are not wonderful. But okay, the other woman I want to look at is someone that, I have a lot of curiosity about, and that's Erika Kirk. So Erika Kirk, we know, was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She looked beautiful, um, and was very, to me, it looked very calculated that she was being escorted out of the venue. And just as the camera was just head on, face to face, she sobbed, I just want to go home. Okay. And the camera caught that. She's very good at emoting when the camera is in her face. But beyond that, she's facing quite a little bit of a um, crossroads experience because, um, their new Turning Point USA, their new emphasis was really on young people, high school students, college campuses. That was the push. But like dominoes, access to those campuses has fallen away. Not only that, chapters have closed in various states and on various campuses. And the reasons that people have given are several fold. I mean, one was the Georgia situation, University of Georgia, where apparently she was in Georgia, ready to go on stage, but when she saw how small the audience was, she came up with the excuse that there'd been threats to her life. That turned out to be, of course, untrue. J.D. Vance had to carry the event by himself. Um, and that really rubbed the University of Georgia branch and their president the wrong way, to the point where she quit and wrote a letter as to why. She also said it wasn't just that incident, but she just felt that TPUSA had strayed since Charlie's death 8 months ago from their original mission, from Charlie's original mission. And, it's a very misogynistic organization, right? So why would they make an exception for Erika? If women are supposed to be home barefoot and pregnant, and Erika does have two small children who now have no dad, who's taking care of those kids? People are very put off by the fact that she is um, not just that she's heading the organization, but that the direction of it feels very commercialized and mercenary and um, not according to Charlie's plan. Now, again, there is no love lost for me with Charlie Kirk. I think he was not a good guy. I think he was a racist misogynist. But anyway, I also think he was very naive. And I think that the funders of TPUSA, Israel, have their own agenda for that organization, which is why they funded it. And I think Erika is all for that agenda. Charlie was not. And I think that's why Charlie is no longer with us, with them in the world. But I also think that Erika's grand plan to take over the organization and steer it in the way that um, Israel would like it to be steered has gone off the rails in a big way, in a very big way. So I just want to look at Erika Kirk. Will she have to step down in order for the organization to continue? What is her trajectory? So I'm going to use the young woman for her. She's not as young as the promo material would have you think, but she's still young. She's like 37, something like that. Um, 38. I think she just had a birthday the other day. What is next for Erika Kirk? So we'll use the young woman for her. Okay, this is Erika. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what I've pulled, just the original five, and then I'll probably pull some clarifiers because it's kind of interesting. So we have the child, we have the scythe, we have Erica, we have the whip, and we have the tower. Uh, I don't even know if I need to pull cards because here's what I think. I think people who are in that um, ecosystem feel that she is not up to the job. I can mirror this first card with this last card, that she is not up for the job of running this multi-billion dollar organization, corporation, which is what it's become. That she should be home with her children, A, and that she is a lightweight. She is a lightweight compared to Charlie. She's not the one with the charisma. You know, she's always acting. He was genuine. I mean, again, I don't agree with him, anything that he said, but he was genuine. She is not. She is not up. She's not equal to the task of running an organization like that, which is to say, the second card is the scythe. Yes, there is a lot of talk of firing her from her position, and I can mirror the scythe with the whip. So she is backstage, but behind the scenes, really, her feet are really being held to the fire. She is, of course, not who she appears to be, by the way. I think that the majority of Turning Point members do not realize that they are part of an organization that is not what it purports to be. I'm just going to put it like that. This is there are so many um, threads in this story. Epstein is part of the story. The missing scientists are part of the story. The Washington um, Correspondents' Dinner is part of the story. It's all related. It's all connected in ways that I can't even begin to explain to you because you wouldn't believe me, I don't think, if I tried. But in terms of this little piece of the pie, Erika, I think will be, she'll step down. She'll say something like, well, I need to be with the children. She doesn't lack for money, so it's not that. She wanted the power. But again, she also has her own handlers that she has to answer to. And if she's not doing the job, I think people thought that, I think the handlers thought that everybody would fall for this young, blonde, big-eyed, tearful widow who has this backbone of steel and is going to carry on Charlie's mission in his name. But um, it's not working out. It's not working out for her. So expect her to get the axe too. All right, that's enough for me for today. I may or may not come on tomorrow. You certainly can find me on Substack. It is free to subscribe to me over there. It's where I write. Sometimes I do readings. Sometimes I do personal readings over there. Not, I've done it once, just the same way that I do the political ones here. I did personal ones over there. So I would encourage you to join in case I get the urge to do personal readings. But anyway, that's where you can find my written work and all the back articles that I've written. So I may come on here tomorrow. If not, you can find me on Substack. Certainly, you will find me here on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Here on my channel, we will be doing Worldview 360, where Lena from Lena Down Under uh, and I talk about the issues of the day. We don't use cards in these conversations, but we love having you with us as we discuss world events from a world perspective for an hour on Wednesday evenings. So look for a notification of that. Anyway, thank you to my new subscribers. Please do like, share, subscribe, pass the word about the channel. I am enjoying seeing the growth and I'm gratified and grateful. And I'll see everybody very soon. Take care.